All right, we are with Rad. Rad is a health expert specializing in the integration of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. He also has a free ebook right now. Well, it's free at the moment. It might not be free later on, so check it out. I'll make sure to put his website and all the details down in the description below. And anyways, Rad, welcome. How's it going, man?
Thanks, Reza. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Happy to be here and share some happiness and health wisdoms with your audience and you.
For sure, man. Really, really good to have you here. I've benefited a lot from your Instagram videos. I don't have TikTok myself, but you do post a lot on Instagram as well. So they've definitely been useful. So for people who don't know who you are, you want to give a brief introduction of yourself, Brad?
Yeah. I'm a lifestyle coach, content creator. I have a kinesiology degree, a black belt in judo. I've traveled a fair bit. I've trained Shaolin Kung Fu in China for 9 months. I've ran a marathon on the Great Wall, and most recently I've completed my acupuncture degree in Chinese medicine. So basically I just try and take as much as I can and integrate into that, what you said, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects. And especially in my job, a lot of it in the beginning was just personal training and physical focused. And it was just constantly seeing people like struggling with everything else outside of the gym that really made me well up and want to address all these other things that come up into people's lives.
Interesting. So, based on all that you said, would you say Chinese medicine is the base or the foundation of all the wellness and the health tips that you provide, or is that just part of it?
It's just a tool. It's another paradigm and way to view things. I'd say the basis of my understanding and how to integrate everything comes from Paul Chek in the Chek Institute. So I'm a lifestyle coach level 3 under him.
Okay.
And honestly, it's just, the basics: diet, movement, happiness, and quiet. He calls it the 4 doctors.
Okay. And can you talk more about this? So you said the Chek, what was that?
Yeah,
Chek Institute?
CHEK.
Okay.
It's run by Paul Chek. He's 60 years old. He's been in this industry for like 35 years. He's revolutionized a lot of things like Swiss ball training, cable training. He's more into primal patterns is what he calls it. So like a holistic approach. He's a very scientific, very smart dude, very jacked, ripped, and strong, but he's also extremely spiritual, emotionally intelligent, and mentally intelligent. So he is the Renaissance man of fitness, where he combines all those things and goes beyond just, how much do you want to bench? It's like, all right, how can we make you happier? How can we improve your total quality of life and your relationships, your career, your sleep? What are the real elements? So he calls them the 4 doctors, and he breaks it down into 6 main principles. So thinking, breathing, movement, nutrition, hydration, sleep. Where in the aspect or wheel of life are you the weakest, and what can you start to improve?
Interesting. This definitely sounds a lot more thorough and multidimensional, and rather than just focusing on like one specific aspect, which is like maybe your physicality or your spirituality or your emotions, right? So it's kind of all inclusive.
Absolutely. And the way I see it is like, who cares if you have 6-pack abs, you're 200 pounds and shredded, can do handstand push-ups, if you're unhappy and you're sacrificing all the relationships in your life in order to achieve it. Same thing can be said for money and people that just work all day. It's like, okay, how much money you accumulate, but what's happening to your relationships and your real quality of life and what you're here for and your purpose. A lot of us are blinded by our childhood programming, our parents, TV, media, society as to what's important versus digging down and deciding for yourself what really matters and what do I want to work for, because I decided, not because when I was a child I was told to be a doctor or a lawyer or make a bunch of money or
everyone's goal is to do that and to get there, right? But it's not necessarily something easy. For example, the word ikigai gets thrown around a lot. I'm sure you're familiar with that term. And there's just so much noise out there. The fact that people want to get to a place that they understand what their ikigai is and they ultimately want to be happy, it just sounds like a utopia at this point. Do you think it's something that's actually achievable, or is it just something that we just talk about in theory?
Man, on an individual level, I think people can really strive and achieve. But what I've learned is it's not about achieving the goal. It's about who you're becoming to achieve this goal.
Mm.
So I've heard like the astronauts that went to the moon, after coming back, some of them didn't really have another goal or place to be. And, you know, once you've gone to the moon, like, where do you go from there? If you don't place those self-imposed challenges for like, all right, I'm going to learn a language, or I'm going to earn $10 million, I'm going to speak to 1 million people. Like, once you've peaked, I don't want to be the one climbing down Mount Everest. I want to be the one that's just always becoming and improving, and not necessarily like, all right, you get $50 million in the bank, be satisfied with it. No, it's like, who did you become to make that $50 million? How many lives did you change? How did you change your life to do that? If you're losing 100 pounds, like, who did you have to become to lose that 100 pounds? It wasn't. One thing really interesting I find is the people that win the lottery, 70% of them lose all the money,
Mm.
and a third of them go bankrupt. So like, they're in a worse position because they got it, but they didn't become who they need to become in order to be responsible with that.
Yeah, I like that. It's really important. Like you said, like the goal, or yeah, the end goal is just, you know, very trivial compared to the journey that you take towards who you're becoming to get to that end goal is basically it, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's a fine balance between accepting that you're enough the way you are so you can live in happiness and peace,
Mm.
but also maintaining a hunger and a striving at the same time. It's a very hard line to balance.
Yeah, for sure. Balancing basically gratitude and ambition together.
Yes, gratitude and ambition. I like that.
Yeah. So I do want to ask you about, you know, some of your habits, maybe daily habits or routines as well, in order to maintain this sort of a balanced and kind of equilibrium lifestyle. Like
Mm-hmm.
what do you do on a daily basis? I want to get into a few things, so I'll be more specific in terms of exercises and in terms of diet, and also in terms of other things that you might do that helps you, maybe journaling or meditation or things like that.
Absolutely. So one of the most critical things I found for me is just walking and going outside. So if when I wake up first thing in the morning, I get my ass out of bed and can get outside and walk, my day is transformed just from that one action. The days that I don't do that, it's like, weird sadness, depression, like I'm missing something, things just aren't clicking, my creativity isn't there.
Yeah.
So walking, especially after meals too. So if you just like had your lunch or your dinner, or your breakfast, go for a 10-minute walk. It's really helpful for the digestion, gets your fresh air, gets everything moving. Outside of that, drinking lots of water. I tend to work out around 11 o'clock. So you're asking. I've really changed it up over the last 6 weeks. I've been doing these crazy, brutal sufferfest workouts where I'm doing like 500 to 1,000 reps on one body part.
Oh, wow.
And it's a huge change from what I've done in the past. And this is one thing I'm really huge on, is to not have dogmas in your life and ideologies and isms. And this is kind of destroying one of my own isms, where it's like, you got to work out full body and always functional. And man, I've been using machines and isolations and concentrating on my muscles, and I've been finding a crazy level of connection to myself. So meditatively wise, being able to connect through my muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also just noticed crazy growth in muscle tissue from just blasting the shit out of my muscles. And what it really comes down to, transferability, is that every day I'm willing to suffer and just grind through. I'm telling you, you're doing like 100 rep sets. So it's like you sit on a leg extension, you're doing 100 leg extensions for 5 minutes. And at 20, you're basically going, 20 is enough.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. 20 is enough. You're good. Then you go to 30, and then you get to 40. And you're like, oh God, I still got 60 left. You get to 60, and 80. By the time you hit 100, you've just broken 5, 6 different mental barriers in your brain and body that have said, I can't do this. I need to stop. This hurts. And most people, when they try and like do fitness or anything new, their mindset is like, this hurts. I'm bad at it. I'm going to stop. Like, they let that mentality and the voice in their head stop them, versus right now, when I feel the pain and I know I got to get to 100, and it's like, you should stop. You should stop. I immediately say, like, I love this. I love suffering. I love working. This is going to get me what I want. Like, just meet that resistance with more powerful positivity in order to push through.
Right.
And so like that self-imposed suffering and being able to go through it is so vital for people. I think many of us are missing it in our days and weeks and months. We go through these kind of like comfort, steady plateaus versus every day realizing I can do way more than I thought. I can do way more. And then actualizing and going through it. So the exercise period was like an hour, hour and a half, kind of balloons into the whole day's mentality of, all right, well, my body was lying to me then. Maybe it's something's going on here. I can do more. I can push and achieve. And
Yeah, if my body was lying to me, then my mind is probably lying to me, and a lot of other things are probably lying to me, right?
exactly.
That's interesting. And I know you said, go out for a walk and do all that. One common narrative that I'm hearing a lot, including myself as well, with this lockdown on COVID situation, especially in Canada, in this cold weather and in the winter, is people are extremely depressed and extremely, lacking that light or that hope that they have, or they used to have prior to these events. How would you, or if there was a few things that you would recommend to get past that? And I know it might be a cliche question, but how would you recommend them getting out of that rut?
Yeah. Excitement. So I was thinking about this. I think about this every day. Like, why am I getting out of bed? What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose? Right now, I don't know. I'm not seeing people in person. Like, no one's holding a gun to my head. I'm doing my own content creation. I'm writing a book. Everything is completely on me.
On you, yeah.
And so it's just open space. And without that, you can kind of just go play video games, sit on Netflix, fuck around, do nothing. Or, and what to your point is, how do you get yourself in that right mindset? One, just get people to commit to walking. I know it's cold outside, so that really is the battle for me, is like, it's cold and I don't want to go walk outside. So when I have that victory, it kind of spurs me. But what's really important, that free ebook is exactly the answer to your question. So getting really clear on your purpose in life, what you love to do, what you're excited to do, what you want to do, what you're willing to sacrifice for is always number one. Like they call it, Paul Chek calls him Dr. Happiness. And again, like I said, you could be shredded, you could be a millionaire, but if you're not happy and you're not no one's happy all the time, but if you don't have ways to make yourself happy and to have a goal that makes you happy, I'm thinking of people like who hit the snooze button all the time in the morning. That's a subconscious signal to your brain that like, there's nothing out there for me and that's getting me excited to get out of bed. So Raz, if I said tomorrow, I'm giving you $10 million, do whatever you want with it. Are you going to wake up and hit the snooze button? Or are you going to wake up like a kid on Christmas Day, like, oh my God, $10 million, like, let's go do some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The world is your oyster after that. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to spark excitement within yourself, within creativity and what you want to do, whether it's speaking languages, getting a black belt in something, making money, finding the perfect partner, even just getting yourself out of depression. It's like, you need to have some sort of spark and joy and a love to get you out of bed. Because without that, like, I'm not going to go to the gym and suffer through 1,000 reps if there's no reason to do it. So like, you got to really dig deep into yourself and ask those questions of like, why am I here? What do I want to do? What do I love doing? And sometimes people have a hard time. So that I made exercises in that book. It's like 10 pages, really simple. But sometimes people say like, I don't know what I love to do and nothing makes me happy. All right, then what's the opposite? Like, what's your nightmare in life? Do you want to keep working a 9-to-5 job? Like, that's a nightmare. Living with my parents, that's a nightmare. Not having money, that's a nightmare. Being in a bad relationship. So you write all those nightmares down and flip it. So like, now your goals become, have a good relationship, move out of my parents, get a good job, etc. And a lot of it is just moving your body. People are like dogs. Like, we're literally caged animals in a zoo. And if you take a dog and just sit it in a chair all day, it's going to get anxious, it's going to get nervous, it's going to pee, it's going to crap, it's going to bark. It's not going to be happy. That's why you have to walk your dog every day. It's the same thing. You got to walk your body every day. You got to take your human out. You can't just sit in front of a screen and zombie and like, you're going to feel depressed. I guarantee it. I've been there. You've been there. We've all like, if you don't make that commitment to move, in Chinese medicine, we call this a stagnation of qi, unfulfilled desires. cause chi to stagnate. So we all have unfulfilled desires. And in Chinese medicine, you can use herbs, you can use acupuncture, you can use massage, but you can just walk. Like walking will move your chi. It's going to help with the digestion. But when it sits and stagnates, like things go wrong.
For sure, for sure. And I've definitely been there. So I know what you're talking about. So in terms of, I know that you studied some of Chinese medicine as well. And I was curious to know, what is the connection? Because I've seen this in a lot of your videos. What is the connection between your body and different areas of the palm of your hand and the palm of your feet? Because that's something that I can't wrap my head around, and it's so interesting.
Right. So I think this is a more relatively new concept in Chinese medicine called microcosms. God, I hope I'm not misquoting the word. Yeah. Microsystems.
Okay.
So you notice in some of my videos, I'll say like press here. And basically it's almost like reflexology, but the idea is that different parts of your body represent the whole. The macrocosm equals the microcosm.
Okay.
So let's say like if I look at your face, you might say like this is the top part of your body, this is the middle part of your body, this is your legs.
Yeah.
If you look at the whole hand, same idea, like head, middle of the body, feet.
Okay.
Then you can break down each one into like micro systems. So like your stomach, you can break down to your tongue, your pulse area. So like this part specifically is representative of your spine. So if people have neck pain and stuff, I tend to suggest pressing on this point, small intestine 3, because it's in the neck region. And then if you have any tenderness or sensitivity down this channel, it can be a representation of blockage of chi and stagnation of blood through the spine.
Interesting.
And so what you have to understand with Chinese medicine too is it's many layers and thousands of years of systems being applied on top of systems. So like one system you might diagnose, you didn't really get success, use another system, that's the one that worked, because the channels and the energies and the meridians, there's fundamentals and foundational knowledge, but then applying it, there's just so many different facets, like working out. Are you going to do a 5x5, 3 sets of 8? Are you training for endurance? Different people react differently to stimulation. So it's like having more toolkits.
I see. No, that's really interesting, because while I was looking at your videos, like I did know that the bottom of your feet like are connected to different organs of your body as well as the hand, but I really didn't know how they work. Now, the fact that you said you're kind of like replicating your entire body from top to bottom and like kind of mapping it out that way, that makes sense. That's really interesting. Is there a way that you can increase your metabolism or like change your metabolism with this practice as well?
With Chinese medicine?
Yeah.
There are acupuncture techniques. I haven't learned them myself, so I haven't. So the thing with acupuncture, when I came into it, I was extremely skeptical. I'm like, okay, we're sticking needles. Even when I signed up to school, it's like, we're sticking needles in people, it's gonna do something. Okay. And like through clinical practice and seeing its effect immediately or the next week with people, it's like, all right, something's happening here. This is doing something. In terms of metabolism, well, I tell you, I haven't seen it myself, nor have I tried it, so I can't give you an authentic answer in that sense. But my suspicion is it's not going to do much if the person's not changing their own habits.
Yeah. Okay. It's a pretty obvious thing as well. And so for acupuncture, because you mentioned it, is the whole point of acupuncture creating like small electric shocks to different parts of your body and your muscle? Is that what it is?
So there's many different theories and applications. If you go to like a physio or a chiropractor where they stick it in a local trigger point, like sure, they're engaging with the nervous system and the muscle to help send a stimulus to recover and to repair. In terms of a Chinese medicine method, you have 12 main channels that flow chi through your body.
Okay.
So like lungs will come out, then large intestine, spleen, stomach. And so when you what you do is you actually ask the person for like 20-30 minutes, what are you here for? And you go through a list of questions and you're looking for specific symptoms. So let's say someone's got like diarrhea, they sweat at night, They're fatigued, they have poor appetite, they tend to be hot. So you put all these different symptoms into a
Yeah.
pattern, and you're trying to treat the pattern. So you can have many diseases, like let's say heart palpitations or diabetes or high blood pressure, whatever, but it could be a completely different organ system or chi or energy that's causing the disease.
I see. So it might not necessarily even be the root cause. There might be something else that's causing or triggering all of these events. Yeah.
Well, so what I'm saying is like same disease, different pattern,
Okay. Okay.
or different patterns can cause the same disease.
I see.
Versus in Western medicines, like you got diabetes or you got this stage cancer, this whatever, here's your pill. Here's your one funneled solution. Versus in Chinese medicine, it's like, okay, well, you have that trouble sleeping at night and you're overweight. But like, how are your stool movements? How's your bladder? How's your digestion? And then we can see a whole picture of the person to actually find out the root problem. Because it might be like a weakness of stomach that's not making enough chi and blood.
I see.
Or your kidneys aren't functioning properly, so the whole system is depleted. You're feeling cold, you're feeling tired. So do we need to boost the kidneys or do we need to boost the stomach? That's
So a lot
it.
more focus is placed on, yeah, the chi energy and the patterns that are kind of causing what they're causing, right?
The root, yeah.
The root, yeah. Okay. And I know you talked about sleep here as well, and I've seen a couple of your videos on sleep. I know deep sleep is an important topic, right? I have problems with deep sleep myself. Are there any specific recommendations that you would have for people to be able to have or achieve deeper sleep?
Yeah, it really depends on where the person's starting. And again, it comes down to why do you want deeper sleep? You know, like if you just want it because someone says it's healthy and I should do it, you're probably not going to do the necessary things. But like if you're trying to lose 100 pounds or stay alive to play with your grandkids or, you know, like deeper reasons. But to answer your actual question, working out in the morning is really good. So when you wake up and you do like even 15 minutes of a moderate to high intensity exercise, it helps reset your cortisol levels.
Okay.
Ideally, we have a circadian rhythm that follows the sun and the moon cycles. But because of our technologies, we can stay up much later, and it messes up with this hormonal cycle. So in the morning, you're supposed to have cortisol rising to wake you up. So instead of drinking coffee, like your body should just naturally want to wake up and get you going. But some people have that depleted cortisol level and they reach for the coffee. So before you go for coffee, like do a 10-minute power walk, do a couple push-ups, do some push-ups, sweat a little bit. This helps lift your cortisol up.
Okay.
So in the morning, you want that cortisol up. And then as the day goes down, it starts to decrease. Don't drink coffee past midday because that can keep you up. And as you're coming into the night, I don't have them on me, but I have the case. I wear these raw optic blue light blocking glasses at night. Yeah, blocking blue light, working out. Sleepy time teas are really nice too. So like chamomile, valerian root, lavender, even just the essential oil sprays. And then really dedicate yourself an hour before bed. Just wind down, get off the gadgets. It's melatonin. That's a hormone that helps you like feel peaceful, quiet, and ready to go to sleep and will help you get to deeper sleep. It's disrupted for every hour you're on your electronics before bed. It'll take another 30 minutes for proper melatonin production to start again. So if you're spending like from 6 to 10 p.m. watching some TV, that's like almost 2 hours it's going to take after that. Like assuming you go to bed at 10, if you take 12 o'clock, you're going to finally start feeling restful and like getting into deeper sleep. So going to bed earlier, consistent bedtimes, putting your phone across the room and setting an alarm so that you have to get up to get to that alarm. If you wake up earlier, you're going to have an easier time falling asleep and going to bed later. Working out. I know I'm just banging out a whole bunch of things. Feel free to stop me. I'm working on a book right now. And I just did the sleep chapter and there's like 30 different.
Oh, that's really useful. But before answering that question, I really liked when you said, oh, you need a deeper reason. It's not necessarily that, oh, because I heard deep sleep is important and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I think that's really important and does show kind of your mentality as well when you're setting goals. You're like, okay, I want to achieve this, but what's the meta reason? What is the grander reason I want to do that? That's really important.
That's always the number one. Like in Paul Chek's system, which is fundamentally, like what I follow in a nutshell, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. One is one love, one purpose, the reason you're here, like what's your overall legacy. And to me, it kind of seems scary for even for me, but you don't have to know the 20-year plan. It's today, what's my reason? So like I keep a sheet, that's part of my exercise, but like I literally just write down a bunch of reasons to succeed. And so like one day, okay, there's just so many reasons. Sometimes one reason won't be sufficient, but then you look at another reason, like, oh yeah, I did want to spread good knowledge, so I'm going to create. Or like one day I'd like to be able to speak multiple languages, so creating something today is just getting me the financial resources to study more languages.
That's really important. And I like how you said you don't necessarily have to know your like 20-year plan, because if a stone is too big for you to pick up, you're not going to pick up that stone. You got to start with pebbles, right?
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that perspective, because myself, like I do overwhelm myself sometimes, like what is my legacy and what do I want to do and what's that one life purpose or one ikigai. But it doesn't have to be like that, right? You can have daily, monthly, weekly, whatever it is, you can break it down, right? And that helps you.
Exactly. It's analysis by paralysis. Make that small. You don't have to lose 50 pounds today. I call it, you write your outcome goals and then you make your process goals. Outcome goal, weigh 150 pounds, but there's nothing today I can do that's going to make me weigh 150 pounds. So process goal is spending 20 minutes walking every day. Like, did I complete that? So it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And so the process that by walking 20 minutes every day, I'm getting closer to my weight goal.
Very true. Very true. So other than the book that you're writing, Rad, what book would you gift to your loved ones and your friends? Or what books, maybe top 3 or whatever it is, it can be one.
Yeah, I'll give you top 3. Top 1 is by Paul Chek. It's called How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy.
Okay.
It's just like, it's like the Bible. It's very easy, lots of pictures, very colorful, but it's just straight wisdom. There's no dogma attached to it. It doesn't tell you what to eat. It's like, these are the good things to eat in general, but always tune into your body. Like, okay, if I tell you to eat kale and you eat a bunch of kale and you have digestive issues, your skin breaks out, you get diarrhea, but like there's so many research papers that say kale is great for you and you keep eating it, you're not listening to your body anymore. You're just listening to a mentality, a dogma, an ism, a keto diet, vegetarian, carnivore.
Yeah, you become
all bullshit. It's like every food will affect your body differently, and you need to take responsibility and ownership and not give some PhD with research papers and whatever the credit until it actually works for you.
Yep. Okay.
So How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. I recommend this book a lot to people. It's basically like how to get your emotions under check and understanding, like, the first few chapters basically goes into your birth. And so when your mother's having you in her womb, does she want you there? And is she giving you love? Like, are you spending 9 months in a woman that's like, I'm so happy I'm bringing this child in with my husband and we're ready. Please come here and we're welcoming you. Or it's like, oh God, I can't have this baby. I don't want you. I don't want you. I wish I didn't have you. So like from birth, you're getting infused with energies and emotions. And until you understand programming and where it's coming from and giving that awareness, it's a lot of people are like children in adults' bodies. They get upset very easily. They can't communicate with other people. They get these emotions that well up and then they say things they regret.
That's true. And like by the name of the book, it just almost feels like if you constantly bury your feelings and don't communicate them properly, at some point, like you said, it's going to come out as resentment and it's just going to explode, right?
Yeah. And in Chinese medicine, emotions are the cause of internal disease. So like chronic disease is caused by emotions, and we name them, like anger's in the liver, worries in the spleen, fears in the kidneys, grief in the lungs. And then you tend to see issues that relate to that. So even in our assessments, like, okay, you have diabetes, but like, do you have depression? Do you have anxiety? Do you tend to overthink? Where's your disposition?
I see. Okay. So Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. That's the second one.
Hmm.
And then what was the third one?
This book changed my life. I haven't read it since, but like it really set my mind straight. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And
Good book.
that was like the first book I ever read of my own accord. I was probably 19 or 20. And I was like, wow, books are great. Look at this is some good stuff. And it changes your mindset. It changes your beliefs. People carry so many beliefs and they fight and die for them, but they haven't actually like broken down, is this logical? Why do I believe the 9 to 5 and making money or getting married or having 2 kids? What, like, do I actually value those things, or they've just been passed on to me and I didn't think to reevaluate and reassess?
For sure. For sure. That is really all the questions that I wanted to ask you, Rad. I do want to also say this on camera as well. Like, I always appreciate your high energy, always upbeat, always, moving forward, accomplishing what you want to accomplish. I know you're not like, a superhero yourself, but you go through like down days as well. But regardless, you keep pushing forward, which is something I definitely appreciate, and I think people should learn from. So yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. If I may share one more thing, you just reminded me. Like, my journey in health has been 8-9 years in the making. And speaking of down days, I didn't recognize this when I was younger, but I'd have these 2-3 week long depressive periods where it's like things didn't matter, everything was blah, it was kind of sad. And over 8-9 years, like, you don't just get this in a month or a week in holistic lifestyle coaching. I've been able to monitor myself and like, okay, now when I get a down day, I accept it, I appreciate it, I let it recharge me. And instead of it lasting 2-3 weeks, it's like 1, maybe 2 days. And then I use that as a springboard to get me back up and excited. Like, you can't just function all the time up here. You need those, your body's going to take you down here sometimes, and you can resist it and go, oh, I wish I didn't feel like this. This is horrible. Or you can say, I accept it. This is what it is. Let it recover, and it's going to boost me back up. So
yeah, you gotta flow with it, right? You can't resist anything. You can't avoid it. You can't resist it. You just gotta accept it, embrace it, and just go with the flow. It's kind of like boxing, you just gotta roll with the punches.
yeah, it's building your toolkit.
100%. That, I think we lost connection right there a little bit, but you're back now. Anyways, Rad, if there's anything else you want to talk about, please feel free. If not, thank you so much for hopping on. I know you're busy with your book as well.
Yeah, let me end it telling people on the book.
Yeah, I actually downloaded the ebook, so it's on your website, right?
Yeah, so right now it's free. It won't be available for probably after a month. So I've
Okay.
taken that book and put that into my new book, which is basically about holistic weight loss
Okay.
without working out or counting calories. So like, how can you lose weight making lifestyle modifications
Mm-hmm.
so that you can lose weight without yo-yo dieting, eating crap food, messing with your sleep? Like what are the fundamental principles you need to have a healthy human body? And from there, everything else works. You're going to lose weight. You're going to look great.
So besides this book, you're writing another one as well.
Correct. It's already at like 130 pages.
Okay, beautiful.
What started with, I thought it was going to be another 10-page book, just quick. And then I just kept writing. It's like, and there's no fluff. It's just straight information that you can, like, the layman can understand. There's nothing rocket science in here. You read it, you can apply it right away. I give you many strategies, many different aspects of life that you get to play with. So it's just giving you a whole bunch of tools and giving you the understanding as to why you're using them.
Yeah, that's good. So it's practical. Well, we need practical stuff, because everyone understands theory, but we need some practical items here, with no jargon, like you said. So looking forward to that. And I have your website, so I'll leave a link down below. Anyone who wants to download the book, I actually downloaded it today, so I'm going to take a look at it. And yeah, man, it's It's a pleasure having you on. Thanks for making the time to do this.
My pleasure, dude. Thanks for connecting and sharing me with your audience.
Of course. Thanks, Rad. Take care.
Take care.